Yo, why you in my business like that? Like, that's crazy. Welcome to the first episode of Mind Your Business, a series dedicated to helping you protect your peace in a world full of distractions. I'm Likisha, and today we're diving into what it means to mind your business and why it is so crucial for your mental well-being. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with other people's opinions, social media comparisons, and never-ending news cycles. Sometimes all of that can cause mental fog, depression, and confusion in our own lives. We get so wrapped up in everything else that's going on around us that we forget to look at the world that we're actually trying to create. And the truth is, we can't really thrive until we learn how to mind our business, both literally and figuratively. So what does it mean to mind your business? And this is more than just staying out of other people's business. It's making sure that we are intentional about the things that we have going on. It's about understanding your needs, your values, and your goals, and then actually paying attention to them and making sure that we're hitting that progress. And making sure that we're not getting caught in the chaos around us. It is really easy to get so wrapped up into everything else that's going on in the world that we forget to be present for ourselves. I mean, raise your hand. How many of you have an idea or a business idea or something that you knew that you were supposed to get to a long time ago, but you've been saying that you're going to do it next month for the last several months? And I might say that minding other people's business might have something to do with it. But hold on, let me cut. Not only do we get distracted from the things that we need to get done by getting wrapped up in family drama, social media comparisons, and celebrity news, that it also causes us to be stressed out about things that we have absolutely no control over.
Yep.
And a part of that is why we may start to get confused about the path that we're taking. We get overwhelmed about the choices that we've made. We start comparing ourselves and like, oh, maybe I should have been this, at this point because this person is at that point. But the truth of the matter is, maybe you would have been there if you weren't constantly looking at where everyone else is. So let's get into it. Today, we're going to cover two key points on why minding your business is crucial for your mental well-being. Point number one, the stress of external focus. I don't think we realize just how much stress worrying about other people's business causes us and the strain that it puts on our focus. Comparing yourself to their lives, comparing yourself to the way they dress, comparing yourself to the marriage or the relationship that they have, comparing yourself to someone else and then feeling bad about yourself afterwards is a hidden stress. I mean, I can think back to a time where I was so hyper focused on where everybody else was around me that I was not realizing the neglect that I was giving the things that I needed to work on. I mean, like if I spent 30 minutes in my mind thinking about where I could be in comparison to somebody else, that was a waste of 30 minutes. I could have spent that 30 minutes on actually getting what I needed to get done. And I know some of you are probably like, this is not me. I don't necessarily do that. You don't know. I think that we do that a lot more often than we like to admit. And so I know y'all know that old saying, the first step to getting better is admitting it. And so you must analyze yourself. Are you always talking about somebody else's business, whether that be good or bad? If you participate in gossip, meaning you are talking about somebody else, passing judgment or giving your opinions, you are literally minding someone else's business. If you find yourself having conversation about the things that are going on in celebrities' lives, and even if it's just like, a quick passing conversation, that's you minding someone else's business. Now, there are ways that you can analyze and take knowledge from the things that are happening. I'm not saying that you just can't know nothing around the world. I do think that we learn from experiences and we learn from the experiences of others. However, it's a big difference between taking something and analyzing it and dissecting it, right? And saying, I see what this is. I see how this side is this, and I see the other side of this, that, and the third. And you're really using it as an educational piece. That's a big difference than just simply talking about it and just being invested in a storyline. Like, oh, I need to watch this because you like the drama. Oh, I need to watch this because I got to see what happened next. I'm nosy. I want to know the tea. What's tea? The tea is you got other stuff that you need to be doing, like minding your own business. For real. Like, I hope that makes sense. And hear me, I'm definitely not trying to come at you or come at anybody. I'm just simply trying to encourage you. And I'm trying to highlight some secret stresses. I promise you, I used to deal with anxiety. I don't anymore. And a lot of the anxiety that I had came from minding other people's business. I mean, how many of you actually feel physical emotions when you hear about other people's business? That right there tells you that you're too invested. If at a point where you hear news about somebody else's business. And I'm being very vague because everybody's not the same. Everybody doesn't, interest themselves in the same thing. So what I might consider some business to get into of somebody else's might not be something that you'd actually even subscribe to. However, read in between the lines. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. But if you can feel actual rage or actual, emotion towards some things that you've been hearing, and you literally get emotionally invested, and not in a way that's humane, in a way that's compassionate about something that may have happened that was really sad, but it really takes a toll on you and you're really distracted emotionally, physically, and mentally by this, that's a clear indicator that you are minding someone else's business. And so this week, I want you to really assess yourself when you're on social media or when you're out and about and you see something like, even when we're outside and we see something that somebody, wears that we wouldn't necessarily wear. The first thing that comes to our mind is, oh my God, what is that? Why they got that on? You mind somebody else's business. Or when you see somebody with somebody and you want to, maybe judge a couple about whatever reason. You minded somebody else's business. When you see that lady in the grocery store with her child and the child is kicking and screaming and you want to make a comment about she should control her kid and you would have did this, you would have did that. You need to mind your business. We here? Okay. Because I know I'm not the only one that used to be minding people's business. Key 2 in minding your business: the importance of external focus. Now, we just talked about the stress of external focus. Now let's talk about the importance of internal focus. So after you've done your assessment and you realize just how much business of other people's you've been minding, I want you to take notice of how you actually feel. Right? Do you feel like you are using that as an excuse or an scapegoat so that you won't actually have to focus on what you have going on? Is that your form of procrastination? Is that your form of projecting? Is that your form of judgment? Is that your form of saying, I wish I had that actually? And by this point, I hope you are aware of how important it actually is to mind your business and the fact that this is a form of protecting your peace. Protecting your peace is more than just setting boundaries for people that you don't like or not doing things that you felt like was, not serving you or whatever the case is. Minding other people's business is also not serving you. It's not serving you and it's not serving them. Unless you're in a business of consulting and somebody pay you to mind their business, you shouldn't be minding nobody's business. So one of the importance of internal focus, number 1, is mental health. Like being upset about somebody else's business or something that you don't even have no control over is absolutely crazy. It's crazy. Like, come on now, let's be for real. Why would you waste that energy being upset over something that has, number 1, nothing to do with you, and number 2, it's out of your control. When I realized just how much of other people's businesses I was minding, it was mind blowing. And I would literally catch myself mid sentence or, before it even came out of my mouth, like, ooh, I'm about to mind somebody else's business. And then it really shows you just how silly that is. And it shows you how much time you actually spend minding other people's business. And then you'll get to notice a lot of things about yourself. Like, again, why do you do that? Are you doing it because you're projecting? Are you doing it as a cover up? And for me, it was a combination of a lot of those things. Honestly, now I'm not gonna lie, this is a conversation for another day, but a lot of that came from just like the way I wouldn't say the way I was raised, but where I grew up. Like, it was very quite normal for people to mind your business back in the early 2000s, growing up in the early 2000s. It was very mindful for people to, know everything about you and or ask everything about you. Or, when I was growing up, and I was in grammar school, bullying was a thing, honey. Like, we didn't necessarily call it bullying. We just kind of called it teasing and things like that because most of it would come from your actual friends and your family. But that was low-key bullying, like asking you, why you got your hair like that? What do you mean why I got my hair like that?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
I have it because I want it like that. Why you eating that? Why you putting that on that? You know what I'm saying? Most people might not have grown up like this, but I've definitely seen it in a lot of households, whereas it was a thing for people to just be all in your business, asking you all type of questions. And I really believe that a lot of that stemmed from just projecting or insecurities on that person or whatever, whatever. And it was really difficult for you to be an individual. And I think that that's still a thing now. Like, one of the reasons why so many people mind other people's business is because they are scared of individuality. They're scared of creativity. And so I'm questioning everything that you're doing because, I wouldn't have done it like that. Okay, so then why don't you do it if you wouldn't have done it like that? Like, does that make sense? Because that's a form of minding other people's business too. And so growing up, you are your environment basically. And so I found myself doing the same things that was done to me when I was growing up, and not just about my family, but just like my peers and things like that. Like, I grew up in the hood. However, most of everybody was like super fly. You know what I'm saying? And it was, what you got on? Why you wearing that? Checking tags. Like, that ain't real. That's like, yo, why you in my business like that? Like, that's crazy. And now we're adults, and, us millennials are still, well, I won't even say just the millennials, but we still mind other people's business. And that's also a form of bullying. Like, name a time where you mind somebody's business and it actually turned out very well. Aside from you probably saving somebody's life. I don't know. But you worried about why this girl with this outfit don't have nothing to do with you. If she wanted to come outside looking like that, that's what she wanted to do. Is the sense sensing? I hope the sense is sensing. But when I learned to mind my business for real, it was life changing. And I don't say that lightly. Like, it was life changing. And not only was I able to set boundaries with, when I was minding other people's business, like, I'm setting boundaries for myself, like, yo, that's not none of your business, girl. You need to just mind your business. But I was also able to set boundaries with other people, because a part of, and this could be another conversation for another day too, but a part of minding other people's business, or that mind your business culture, I'm going to mind your business culture. I think that is where that having to give disclaimers and having to over explain yourself comes from, right? A no can't just be a no, and a yes can't be a yes. It has to come with an explanation, and it has to come with a disclaimer. No ma'am, no ma'am, no, it does not. If I say I can't come, I can't come. If I say I can't do it, I can't do it.
I said what I said,
As
and
always.
I'm not changing on it.
I don't owe you an explanation. And because a lot of times where we feel like our no can't just be a no, or our yes can't just be a yes, we will have to find a reason why. And oftentimes that led to lying. And so me, when I was coming into my Christianity, obviously I was not trying to purposely lie. And so when I found myself having to make up these little white lies, and no lie is light, a lie is a lie, I was like, why am I even doing that? Oh, because I don't want, I want to tell them why I can't do it or why I'm not coming. Why? Because I know they're going to ask. This is the conversation I'm having in my head. Why? Like, that's so crazy to me. And I know that was stemmed from just the I'm minding your business culture. Like, no, I don't have to explain nothing to you. I'm doing what I'm doing and I'm doing what I'm doing. And my no means no and my yes means yes. All in all, minding your business, taking care of your business, not only is it healthy for you, but then it also creates health for other people. No one wants to feel pressured and surrounded by other people's opinions and comments and concerns and advice that they didn't ask for, and neither do you. And so you can start with your part by just minding your own business, and hopefully that leads you to be able to set some boundaries with people who are trying to mind your business. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.